Pearl is the newest Ty West film that is a prequel to the highly acclaimed X that also stars Mia Goth once again, who is taking on a producer role and a co-writer role while also being the lead in this movie. Pearl takes place in the 1920s and it tells the tale of Pearl, who is driven by wanting to leave her farm and become the star that she is born to be. But in doing so, she also has to fight the inner demons and the murderous tendencies that she so desperately cannot shake. Now, I've stated before on this channel that when X came out, I didn't hate the movie. I actually pretty much enjoyed the movie for what it was, but I wanted a little bit more from it. I was expecting a little bit more, from the story wise. Like, I liked a lot of the stuff that they wanted to do, but I needed more from it. With Pearl, I was kind of like, okay, let's see where they go with this. And I have to say, Pearl was really fucking good. For starters, I think while the story is in this one still pretty extravagant compared to a natural story, I guess you'd call it, it definitely feels unique in its own way. And I think that's a great point for this movie to have. I think having Ty West directed and created again, while also having Mia Goth having actual input in the story, is really cool to see because, she played Pearl and I can't remember the exact character's name, but in X she played both Pearl and the other lady. And it's cool to see her be like, I've already played this character, so this is how I kind of would think that she would act at that age during that time. And it was just really fun and really cool to see her perform the character while also knowing that she had a hand in writing the story. And I have to say, Mia Goth fucking shines in this movie. She is so damn good in this movie. There is a 6 to 7 minute monologue that's closer to the end of this movie that, as I was watching it, I was like, holy shit, this is kind of a long take that's going on right now. And as it kept going and going, it was just so mesmerizing, and it was just awesome to see. You don't really see that often, at least with the big blockbuster movies nowadays. They don't want to take chances like that. They don't leave the camera on people. That was a big problem with Spider-Man No Way Home that I saw a lot of people talk about. And granted, I do see it after multiple watches where it's yeah, the director can kind of you want to see the actors' faces when they're giving long, detailed stories about something that's painful to them because they can convey it, or just a great monologue in general. I mean, look at the Lighthouse that was directed a couple of years ago that starred Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. There's a long ass monologue in there with Willem Dafoe. You wouldn't cut away from Willem Dafoe, would you? And I think Mia Goth just does her thing with this story and this character, and it's just so fucking cool to see. Also, the story with her having a rough relationship with her parents while also wanting to be a huge megastar is really compelling to see, but it also feels weird at the same time because we want to root for her. It's much like Joker, where it's we want to root for these characters, but they also do terrible things, but we understand their pain, but they also express it in terrible ways. So it's fun to see that. It's fun to explore that level of storytelling. I also love the story that she has with other people in this movie, specifically her mother, because they have some great tension in this movie. There's a lot of hatred between the two, and while it's her mother is trying to show her that you can't do these things, you have to sacrifice stuff in life, even if it means you're not entirely happy. But Mia Goth is thinking selfishly, but also wanting to get out of this life that she has only known for so long. And it comes ahead in some great scenes with them butting heads, and it was just really fun to see. And the father that plays in this movie, he is kind of just not, he's in a wheelchair for the most part. They're taking care of him because he's ill. And the emotions that's conveyed from this actor, that's conveyed in fear and pain and all that other stuff, he's just so good in this movie too. The whole cast was just actually phenomenal in this movie, and it wouldn't be right for me to sit here watching an A24 movie and tell you anything less that the camera work and the editing and the look of the movie isn't tremendous. I mean, and to be fair with this movie, it's very different, and I like that because it's shot similar to movies that were back in the day. that took place in 1920. You know, there's this very colorful and vibrant scenes when it's outside, and it's just so like beautiful to look at, and you don't get a lot of that anymore. And the format of like just the text alone and how the end credits roll and all that other stuff, the music even, it's all just like at a 10. Like it's so good to see, and it's again different, and I give it props for that. But I'm also not giving it props just because it's different, because you could be different but then have shitty aspects of your movie. This is different, but it has great aspects of the movie, so it just blends in and just makes for just an amazing experience. While some people may prefer X compared to this movie because that movie is very much a slasher and it is a like horror movie first, this movie wasn't very horror-esque to me. There were a lot more unsettling moments, is what I kind of stated after watching this movie. It felt very creepy, but it never felt like, you know, thriller. I guess you could maybe put it under that category, but not outright horror like slasher style stuff, even though there's elements of that in this movie. This is definitely a slow burn, and it earns a lot of that. In the end, I think Pearl was a fantastic prequel to X, and I can't wait to see what Ty West and these people do again. It's just a great movie. I'm gonna give Pearl 5 stars. It's amazing, right? Like, I mean, I didn't like X that much compared, you know, to what other people thought. And while over the time, it's been a year now, it's kind of grown on me a little bit more. I do enjoy it a little bit more than I did then. But I think that this movie is exponentially better. And stick around for the rest of the credits, because there is a little teaser once again, like how X did with Pearl. They're making another one. And it takes place in a time frame that I am super excited for, and I can't wait to see what they do again. Thanks guys so much for watching. Look forward to more reviews very soon. I'll talk to y'all next time.